Just make sure you take everything right. Cause I know we'll be moving. We'll be moving to somewhere unknown. Can't you see now? I can feel it now. I should stay now. Oh, we should stay here now. We should stay here now. Somewhere unknown.
G'day. We're back. So, see, I got some weird things happening with that. Let me just turn some lights on, 2 secs. If that fixes it. Alrighty. Let's see how we go. I had to kind of pull my PC apart the other day. It's been a while since I've streamed. Just going to check audio. Hopefully everything's so much just low on mine because it's pretty loud at the moment. There we go. Easier. So you can still hear me. Just want to make sure that's all good. Let's see. Check my stream. Okay, I think it's good. Check my stream. Cool. Alrighty. Oh, still playing it. Cool. G'day, how you going? I think it's been a while since I've streamed. A good while. So what's happened in between is lots of stuff. I somehow broke my mic. I just did the silliest thing ever by having it on the side of my desk. I brushed it and then it fell down. And then it's one of the Blue mics. And I broke the it wasn't the actual connector, thankfully. Like, most of it's metal, so it wasn't that hard to fix. But there was some, within it, there's some kind of rubbers that kind of help the ball essentially stay in position where you move it. That was just completely gone. So I fixed that by using just some rubber stick-ons that my daughter uses for her arts and crafts. So pulled all that apart, had to kind of fix it all up, and now it stays where it is. I do not move it because I know that if I move it or bump it, it might disconnect. But I'm not willing to buy a new one because I don't really see the justification of the cost at this point in time. What else has happened? My power supply blew up, which is always fun, especially when I'm worrying. Actually, to be honest, it was my fault. At the end of the day, though, it was better to be the power supply than the motherboard. So basically, I turn it on, fans spin up to 100%. On my graphics card would spin to 100%. My fans would just turn on for half a second. I'm like, oh, it's either motherboard or it's power supply. Thankfully, it's power supply, so I've gutted that. Put a new power supply in. I've actually still got to do an RMA on it to get my other one back, so that I can put it all back together. But I just haven't got to that yet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. How's everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Today, what are we doing today? So one of the things I've been working with behind the scenes is just trying to see if there's a means to be able to integrate ScriptRunner, which is PowerShell script management tool, to be able to actually integrate that with disaster state configuration, using Datum as a means to be able to control the input and outputs. So I've kind of fleshed out in my mind what I needed to do. Technically, it's a bit more in terms of what we need to kind of do, and we're kind of exploring, kind of pushing ScriptRunner just a little past what it's capable of doing at the moment. So that's one of the things that we're planning to do, and I'm hoping that, yeah, we can have some success in this area today. So I'm going to kind of start in the hardest section, which is focusing on a means to be able to actually, what we want to be able to do within ScriptRunner is be able to create an action and dynamically update that action based on the configuration from ScriptRunner. Now, ScriptRunner has the capability to do parameter-based lookups and things like that on entries, on drop-downs. So if you wanted to create an item, just say something along the lines. When you want to be able to, okay, you can selection made. When you want to actually assign your parameters, so this part here, so your body string, action URL ID, all that's predefined. You cannot change it; can't be generated uniquely. So what I'm thinking of doing today is essentially creating a custom action in ScriptRunner. I know that it seems to be recorded in these XML files. That's what Haku's basically mentioned. And trying to actually understand how those XML works, decompile it, parse it, and then essentially what I'm going to try and do is see if I can inject properties into that. See, the idea here is that the properties essentially act as parameters. So the idea here would be or the other option I'm just thinking is that I could update the parameters. I would have to have the script, when it trigger with those parameters. So it would need to dynamically update the parameters themselves within the script. The question is can it do that? I think it can. That's going to be really challenging. I think for the time being, I just want to be able to work out how is it writing to the XML? Kind of reverse engineer a little bit that, and then from that we can then figure out the capability of being able to actually inject something. See, I think the way that it works is that essentially the way ScriptRunner would work is it'll take all that configuration, essentially just can kind of concatenates it and then executes it. So what I'm thinking is, I'm just going to switch scenes. What I'm thinking is happening here is that because it's doing that, we need to also update the parameters. That's going to be interesting. I think it's possible. It's definitely possible. It's just going to be a means of how do we define advanced parameters, like how essentially we'll be writing PowerShell essentially under the hood into the script. So that kind of means that we need to develop some sort of compile process. Instead of actually just having a script that would go through and do that, the way that you would probably want to do that is have essentially another script, and what it would do is it would go and do all that, and then essentially it would compile based off a template, so that you're always getting a new copy every time. You're not adding anything, you're essentially replacing. So yeah, that's probably the first thing. But we need to figure out how does the script work, how these parameters get invoked, and yeah, so let's get started. So what I'm thinking we can do is let's go ahead and grab these XML files. I'm just going to grab these, and we just, like, I don't particularly want to be working in the IC, so I'm just going to go ahead. There it is. Do that, so we can just go and have a peek. So in here we have a couple bit of, oh, okay. Interesting. What's this one? Okay. Okay. Weird. Piss off insensitive. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, first things first, I'm going to do the oldest trick in the book. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go and stick a script in there. I'm just going to stick it in the library. Oh, no. I'm just going to call this .get1. What I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to go and essentially go and do lookups on those specific items. And then I'm going to backstep. I'm going to backtrack my way through that. So I'm just going to put something in like that. What we can do then is we can then jump in our actions. We should be able to create a new action. Search. Oh, yes, we can. There it is. Okay. Oops. We'll edit it, make sure it's all good. Okay, so yeah, there's our parameters now. It's but that's good, because what that means now is that we have a before and after. We have a before and after snapshot, so we can actually probably do a comparison, but against these two. to figure out what the dealio is. So I'm just going to prefix this with a B underscore. I'm going to prefix this with a B underscore. Go ahead and grab those XML files again. And then we can kind of figure out entities. So we'll have a look at entities first. That looks pretty, okay, that looks pretty straightforward. Same number of lines, okay, cool. Well, let's have a look at the sec one. Interesting. Okay, so we've got a new entity there. Looks like it's actually, okay, it's updated each of those properties. So that's it there. Now I just need to figure out how the parameters are defined. So it creates a GUID. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, and that's it. Gives it the ID based on the previous entity there. I'm just kind of like thinking about now what the thought process is going through my head at the moment is, how do I associate them? So now I'm just going to do a quick search for this. Just wanted to check to see if this is associated, that attribute's associated. No, it's independent. How is this? Because this is associated to, how do these match essentially? So this is very interesting now since we've, I can go ahead and edit this. Going to put a test in there, so actually I'm going to put something else. I want to do something like that, so something that's unique that we can kind of go and have a peek for. So what I'm going to do, go and dump these back in. Let's see what pops up. Okay, so it seems to be sec. That's the, oops, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. So what we can do is select the pair was selected. So left hand side's the one that we're looking at. Oh no, sorry, left hand side's before, right hand side's after. So what we can actually do here is we can just search example. Interesting. Okay, that's parameter content right there. That's how your parameters are being stored. I'm going to expand the script. What I'm going to do is when the script's expanded, I'm going to add a secondary parameter and see how that's added. Once I can kind of write something that effectively can read and write into it, this will actually be the most complicated piece. Would actually be the easiest piece, I think. So just looking at this now, how does this match? Now this is the thing, is how do I know that this parameter is associated to that? Is it the ID 19? Is that how it found it? That's how it's finding it. So it's so the ID is the associate is essentially the foreign key in this instance. So now we know that we should be able to do a lookup. I could write a tool to go and parse it, do a lookup, and find the parameters for this. So let's go and have a look at PowerShell. Hey, let's go and do that. So what we're going to want to do, this is going to be a bit of a lesson for everyone in XML. What we're going to do, I think we might just do some XPath lookups. I'm going to have a poke around first in PowerShell, and then we're going to do some XPath lookups to try and figure out to go and get the path through XPath, and then hopefully that's enough. I'm just a little worried about, we're going to need to make sure that we'll need to flesh out the XML structure, but just need to make sure that what we're putting in the structure is correct. Once we've done that, I'll go back. I'm going to add a secondary parameter to the script. I'm going to update the ScriptRunner action, and then we're going to go back again. We're going to then run the same script to actually get it, and then we're going to go from there. So I think the way that I'm going to write the script is that it needs to know the PS1 file because the PS1 file is the key thing here. So essentially the process, what we're going to be doing is searching the PS1 file, getting the ID, using the ID to do the lookup to get the, searching the PS1 file, which will return the entity for the script, then grabbing that ID, and then searching that to find the parameters, and then that's how we're going to join that data together. And then what's going to happen when we start tampering with it? That's going to be an interesting concept. But as long as the thing is that it's XML, so we can manipulate it. If we can get this working, this is a major hurdle that I can push out of the way to then be able to focus on just starting to develop the solution. The next big step after this will be to write essentially a script that can develop a schema. So this is kind of going to that next level on top, which essentially what it's going to do is get the PowerShell, look at the Datum configuration, however you have it set up, and then what it will do there is basically it will go and compile that configuration and generate parameters in the script based on that. And then what that will do is we can then use that to update the action. So the idea is that when we create the script, we can then essentially create when we go and create a new DSC configuration, essentially what we're going to do is just create a datum role, and that script will essentially decide how where that YAML file will be placed, whether, you know, based on the environment, based on all these different pieces of information that will decide how the environment variable is placed. That'll then get placed there, and then the automatic build process behind the scenes will automatically pick it all up, do what it needs to do, and then spit it out. That's the plan. Let's give this a go. All right, so I think the first things first is figuring out, can we do this? So let's go and have a poke around. I'm just gonna go to path, and we're just gonna parse that content as XML. Okay, cool. So we're cooking with gas. Is there any way, is this reading? Is there a way I can actually grab the... I was hoping that there'd be a way that I could just like right click and just like copy the path. I'm gonna have to go digging for it. Root, so just go, so obviously root, so let's go. So we've got entities. Okay. So you can see here, these are the entities that we have. So this seems to be this under entities base root. So entity is the schema. Is entity would be the base type for configuration in ScriptRunner, I'm guessing. Action context item. As long as that, the key thing here is that as long as that ScriptRunner service is not hashing the file and keeping that hash somewhere. So I'm just going to put my jump on. As long as ScriptRunner is not hashing the file and then keeping that hash somewhere, we should be free to manipulate it. If it is, we then go find that process, which I think is going to be really tough. So yeah, we can suss that out. So I think let's keep cracking on. So entities, we're going to go and have a look. We've got like I'm looking at the XML. Where is it? What are we at? Action context. Action context item. Hang on, let me go and open up. Okay, that's general. Where is it? So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so maybe it's under property. What are we there? What have we got here? It'd be nice if I can actually, is there any XML tools where I can actually just copy out format document? Let's just trying to think, is there a way in VS Code to be able to just extract the path? I'm just going to quickly Google this. Extract XML path from XML file VS Code. What do we got? That I want to be able to go and find the common path. Nope, I don't see anything. Okay, that's right. We can do it manually. It's just going to take a little longer. Keep the suspense. So I think what we can do here is, so that's the root. So that was right. It's in here somewhere. We're in sec. Yep, we're in sec. I'm just trying to think. Okay, so param.value item. Base. Okay. It's okay, I get this. It's the type. I'm pretty sure it's the type. Class key, query directory. Where is that? Well, let's actually just quickly drop our index on this. Key. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. I'm just going to have a look around and see what we've got. App config. So what we're looking for is action context. I'm guessing it's the first one, action context item. We should see it at index 18. No. Entity, index 18, 17, 19. Where are you? There you are there. Question is, do we even need to know anything about that? And I don't think we do. I'm just trying to think what in that is going to be relevant. And I don't think there's anything in there that's relevant. What we should be looking for is this, which is a param value. So what we need to go back is have a look at entities, look for param value item. Okay, so that's the one. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got entity. That's action target. Nope. 5, 6. Yep, and then entity. Last one. Now I have a sneaking suspicion. This right here. So this right here, I 100% believe that's an array, and that's how it's storing its property info. So the only thing that we need to do is update that. That's my hypothesis. Could be wrong, but that's what I think it is. So I'm just going to start putting a notepad out to kind of is it? What I'm going to do, the reason why I'm doing this is so I can kind of start to figure out what XML XPath query that I'm going to write. So I'm thinking here, since we're using, what I can do is we know that the ID is associated down the bottom, so we can write the XPath, hard code it for 78 and see what returns. So let's go and have a look at XML. Let's see what I need to do. I need to select a single node. Let's select single node. Let's see what it is. String XPath. Good. Alright, so what we're going to need to get... Man, I always have to come back and figure out XPath. I need to go and have a quick look at XPath for a sec. Best place to go for this? W3 schools. I just need to remember the syntax. Like, I don't use it. You don't use it. If you don't, I personally I don't use it, and then I forget it, and then I kind of have to go look at it again. Select from the root node. Okay, so what we can do, we can actually just search for the entity. Hang on, let me just have a quick look at what the entity type is. See, we can actually do a search directly for the entity, and the reason why is because we have the class key. So what we can actually say is, we could say / entity. I think it's entity. I've just got to quickly. Yeah, so we can go / entity. Yeah, that should return. Cool. Okay, and then what we can do here is we can basically say firstly we need to actually define the class key. So we have to say class key equals is equal to param value, and then we can say how do we insert ands into this? No, there's a way to do that. You can kind of stack the expression. I think it's just space and, but just need to check. Or it's pipe. It's pipe. I think it's pipe. So we can then say param value, and we can then say ID is equal to 78. Let's see what happens. Okay, expression must evaluate to a node set. Yes, so I've got the expression wrong. So let's just quickly flick that to a string. See, that fixes it. Nope. Okay. I need to figure out what the and is within the condition. I'm just going to kind of figure out what the and is, and it can be predicting. So I'm just kind of flying through this, trying to figure out what it is. It's and. It's and. Whoops. There we go. Cool. Cool beans. All right. So that's our XML lookup to go and get the attributes or the parameters. I'll get parameter entity. So now we can actually do the exact same thing for our script. And because our script is going to be named a specific name, we should be able to figure that out. Another thing is we've got to figure out how to write to this as well, so that's another challenge. But anyway, we'll get to that. So what I'm thinking here is if we go back down, if we basically search tester, that's interesting. Interesting. That's a param proxy. I think maybe there. Script proxy. We maybe need to get the proxy info. I'm just going to kind of grab that as well. I'm just going to kind of, what I'm going to do is just essentially just compress those and just put them in an array with what we need to do. Actually, no, I won't put them in an array. I'll put them in an object because it'll make it easier to reference. So we need this one. This is the one that we need. So what we can do here, so we've got script proxy. We can effectively figure out now what that XPath, what that XPath query is. Now, we can't just do a straight search on the ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that to that. Oops. That, and then what we can do is we can say and search on the display name. EXP common test. What is this? External reference. I betcha that's that other instance. It's at 155. I'm gonna have a look at this other one. Nothing in there. I think this is just kind of a default one. Don't think there's anything in there. Oh wait. This is the one we need to be looking at. Excuse me. Oh. Something is in here. trying to find an entry that, like, because it's pointing to this external reference. This, I know what that is. They're the directory path. We can actually figure this out. It's not the best way, but EXPL common test. Under live is under EXPL common test. So what we can do then is, if we know that, I don't think it's a big deal. So if we jump back into here, we're looking at the external reference. We just need to focus on that, and I think we'll be good enough. You could basically like have a path in there, but I'm just kind of like, I want to build a proof of concept. Oh, sorry. Oh, this is. Oh, I was up at 6:30. Usually I'm up at 5. So yeah, tired. Anyway, so I think if that's the case, we can just basically do a search on the X reference to go and get the ID. So the ID we need, hang on, what was... So I think they're, because we have the ID here. What did we say it was before? I'm just trying to remember. It was because we forgot this item and this item. How did we match them? Because width's different. We matched them on the ID. Pretty sure we did. Hang on, let me just go back and look at this. Oops, that one. ID is 78. What's the property? My brand proxy 155. I think I know what's going on here, but I just need to think. That's what we need. So I think there's a couple of things we need to do a lookup for. Yeah, brand proxy, we have a script proxy, and then we have a property. So I'm looking for param value, which I did copy and paste it in here. I just copied and pasted it up here. Okay, so we need to get the param proxy, which matches 78 match again. No, the param proxy is matched in the property. So this is how we match the like the script. Okay. That is a little bit clear as mud. Yeah. All right. So let's go and grab this anyway. Let's just go and write this. So gonna grab that. So first thing, it's a param proxy. I'm just gonna get it statically for the moment. The reason why is because I just want to have a peek in here and figure out is the property referencing the script proxy below. It's not. How is the script proxy being referenced? Like what I'm trying to do is connect the dots so I can understand how to actually build this in a way that's not going to break anything. I think we're okay. I'm just going to do a search on them. So what we can do is quickly grab that string. Let's rewrite this. So we're going to rewrite it so that the external reference, I think it's contains. Oh gosh, I've got to, like, again, it's just such a, trying to remember what the contains, I'm pretty sure it is. Back to XPath land. I know there's probably someone in chat. If you're in chat and you know what XPath, let me know. So I can lean on you. Don't we happen to go looking for no documentation? Yep. I just want to see the operators. I think. Why even it's still an XPath? Nope, I'm not. Oh god, what did I just do? Operators, that's what I want. Subtraction, mod, no, not operators, it's a method. Where is it in this? An axis. There's a I know there's a thing in here. It's like contains, I think, is a method that we can use. I think it's contain. Off to XPath. XPath contains. So it contains item, key value, or list. Okay, so that means that it will be contains, and then it will be X reference. Whoops. Contains. Let's start PS1. I think that's it. Okay, I've stuffed something up. Closing brace. Oh, I've stuffed something up. Okay, what did I stuff up? Close my string. Okay, that didn't work. Nope, that's not wrapped in that. Class key is script proxy. Oh, okay, so first thing we did was we stuffed up there, so it's supposed to be script. I'll just quickly repaste that one. And then it contains that. Is it an entity? Yeah, it's an entity. Okay, let's paste that back there, save it. What is it? Script property. just gonna get rid of this. Make sure, I'm just gonna simplify the query. Okay, that works. Why doesn't this work? And contains, I'm doing wrong. Entity, I'm going to put an at on it. No, that didn't work. What is it not getting? Does it have to have wildcards? I don't think it needed wildcards. I'm just going to go have a look at the method. You're only looking at list child, list element. You need to query like follows. One or more list items. And li, whoops, not that one. Okay, so then it should be I just realized the reason why is because it's a nested property. That's why. XPath is something I always struggle with. Yep. I just realized why, and the reason why is because it's a property. We're looking at a property within it. We're not actually, it's not contained in the top level. So what we need to say, that now makes sense. This is, so we can then say, dot property, Gosh, this has just turned into this XPath into a mash of not fun. It'll be and property. How's it going, Gilbert? Property. No, it'll be and name is equal to extref. And contains property and contains. I don't think this is right at all. Nope, that's not right. I have to go back to that example. I think that this example is the right thing. So, because yeah, it's he's getting the feature list. Yeah, and then he's looking for list item that's a model. That's not correct. It's and dot list item contains dot model. Okay, so I'm kind of on the right path there. I think I'm just going to write this out in here just to kind of get a bit of an idea. So it's going to be entity script proxy and dot property. reference the square bracket name is that. So let's go ahead and simplify this first and see if that does anything. Okay, that works. So that means that the subsequent would be and dot property contains ID would be dot, and then it would be test.ps1. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Nope, is an invalid token. Yeah, probably the reason why is that, it's because the comma. Hey, look at that. What a win. Gotta save that, make sure I don't lose it. It's going well. I got laid off last week, spent some time off doing some things before jumping back into the job pool. Oh, that's not good. I always find layoffs are not they're not good. At the same time though, yeah, like kind of like I found also like I got laid off right before I got married, and then I played video games for 4 months. Got bored after a month, so yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. It's not the funnest thing in the world, but yeah, I think at the end of the day though, it is what it is. Unfortunately, kind of got to move forward. Yeah. So what are you doing in the meantime? You're just kind of chilling out, playing some video games, doing some learning. What's going on? So while we're doing that, we can able now to grab we got our XPath lookup, so that's good. The next thing we need to do, so that's basically returning that. So the next thing, is get out RAM proxy. I think this is going to still work. Yep, cool. There we go. And because we've got that, we can then go and get that. All right. So now what we can do is we'll start writing a errands housework. I've just been ignoring learning answer book. Yeah, that's what we call. I've got housework lined up to the T's today. I actually managed to get some of it knocked out yesterday. Yeah, and learning Ansible, that's a big win. That's a big plus. You can't complain about that. I didn't even finish it. So we're gonna write get script. I'm just gonna say SR for ScriptRunner. Action. I'm just gonna say get script SR action. So we're just gonna go string path. What we can do here is we can just basically, I'm only honest, I can't be bothered doing test path. What we can do is just basically parse it, get content, path slash XML path. And then from that, what we can do is, I was thinking about putting PS bound parameters in there. I was like, I'll just leave it as is for the moment. We can then parse it. What I'm going to do here is essentially, oh, we're going to need another parameter. So all you need to do here is add a parameter. Script name. I'm actually going to wrap this as a literal string. The reason why is because we've got square brackets in there, and there's a PowerShell will process that. It'll process that as a and it'll try and add regex it'll try and insert regex if it can find anything into it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say parameter. I'm just going to kind of comment these out because I know that they're working. So then what we can do is go we're just going to call it object. It should be okay. I was just making sure that it still retained its position, and I think that is fine. Script proxy. Then we're going to go parameter param proxy, and then we're going to go. What's our 3? We got param proxy. Param value. Okay, so then what we can do is just go XML. Google Node. So, script proxy xpath. XML.select single node. We can then go script xpath. And because we're dependent on that, what we can do is just make it null for the moment. And then down in here, we can basically say param value equals XML select single node. Where is that query? That's not the query. Where did I put it? That's not it. That's it there. So what we can say here is, okay, I probably should stick that up. Here we go, what's that? Script. Good. So, and then we can go and get that ID out of that. And we can then just substitute it in here. So we can basically say, it's 78 that was looking at, no, what was it looking at? Okay, I need to turn on focus. How do we turn on focus? Hang on a second, okay. Alright, I'm back. So what I'm looking for is that ID again. I think it was in the property. Jeez. Okay. Just go and have a look at that again. Now I think it's in here it's because that's the property we want to get the parent. I think it's dot dot. I just got to figure out how to navigate the path because there's a way you can navigate the path. Get the current node, select the parent. Yes. So if I go slash dot dot. That should be returning the parent. Parent value ID, max ID. No, that's wrong, Michael. The ID is 78. Yes, okay. The param proxy is linked there. Okay, sorry. So that means that that makes the XPath a little more complicated. So if we go back here, I'm just going to grab this because, well, what did I do there? That is completely wrong. 2 secs. We need to fix that. Fix that. That goes there. Let's fix it. I literally copied the original query that I wrote. That wasn't correct. So that means that that will go there. So then this would become entity param value, and then what we need to do is go dot property. Don't really want to listen to this. Then it's property my param proxy is equal to that. It should be, I'm just going to copy this so we can kind of just use it. Should be 155. Liking that. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't think we even need it. Nope, that ain't it. The param value, yep, ID 78, that's fine. Then it's and the property, which is, these are our properties here. My param property is equal to 155. Yep. Is that a name? No, that's just a... No, that's not right. Hang on. I think... It is. So it has to be... okay, we're starting to write this. So it actually is this entire thing here. So what we need to do is grab that, do that, and we can say property name is equal to my param proxy, and then from that we can then basically do our lookup. So we can then say and property I'm guessing I can... Oh. I can say and property... I'm hoping I maybe can do that. And then I can say 155. This is what I'm, and this is my theory. Don't need that. If this works. Question must evaluate to a node set. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let me just try and get rid of that. No, please. How am I gonna get... Oh, what am I gonna do? I don't really want to do fuzzy matching. Is there an equals? XPath methods. I think there is an equals method, so I can just use the equals method. Last ID, yep, not looking for that. Type ID for that. Okay. Starts with, contains, ends with. Equals was on the min, that's what I remember. Yeah. Contains text, price. Maybe I can say that, and then what I can do say I'm trying to, like, the problem that I'm having is that the entity is it's essentially an array. So I've gotten the ID. I think I can just probably just use, and then it's dot property. I think I'm going to have to do it this way and say and dot property contains dot what was it, 155, and then do that, and then do that, and then do that. Okay, contains has an invalid token. Alright, what we're going to do is I'm going to grab that part of the string, tack that on the end, code that, see what happens. Oops, I'm going to do that. Do it again. I'm just going to clean this up and see what happens. Cool. Now, if that's the case, there we are. We got it. Cool. Alright, so that means that works. So what we need to do now is insert a 0 there, like so. We don't actually format it because we can't until we've actually gotten the ID of the proxy. So what we're going to do is say that /format, and then once we can actually do our lookup, I can actually probably, do I have XML already pulled? Yep, okay, perfect. So what I can actually do is just do that, build out the object. Okay, so first things first, has an invalid token. What did I break? Okay, script name, I just need to fix that. So I can basically say script name is equal to s.ps1. I'm just kind of mocking this in now so that when I go to invoke it, it should work. Okay, what do we got now? Param value. Contains an invalid token. Okay, so I'm just going to have again another look. That looks good. What am I broken? What have I broken? That looks good. So it's substituted them. I'm just going to run these individually now. That works. That doesn't work. Script param next path. Script param. Oh, okay. So that's because I've got the wrong one selected. So we can go ahead and fix that. Okay, now since we've got that, we can go ahead and pass that, and then we can go and figure out what our script proxy is, which is 298. Is that what we were looking for? We did it. Was it 298? 155. That wasn't it. Yes, it's a prime proxy. Okay, so what we need to do then is say object.param proxy.id, and that can only be one. 3 entities. param proxy, param value, and yeah, cool, we got it. So now I can just then dump that out. And that could be a self-contained command that we can actually use to go and extract content out of our proxy. Let's see if it works. So what we can do is go get SR action, XML path. One overload for select single node and the argument count 0. Okay, 24.5. What's that? Ah, whoops. There we go. Cool. All right. So what we're going to do is just check to see what happens here. They look like they're the same, which I'm just going to have a quick squiz. Param proxy. Yep. Script proxy. Property. Property. Okay. So next thing we need to do is we're going to go and add some more properties to it now, just to kind of measure how it's changing. So let's go ahead and add a second property. Say another T. Keep it unique. So now what we can do is go back, program data, sorry, ScriptRunner. I'm just going to search for that XML file again. And file location, not that one, these ones, thank you. So what we can do now is go in here. Paste in the updates, paste in updates. Let's see what happens now when we run it. So if we go for param value, what do we have? Okay, so it seems that we need to modify the code now because it's not retrieving multiple properties. No. Okay, so so what that means for us now is we need to just thinking about, need to have a look at it again. So we've had an update, it should automatically okay, it hasn't, so we're going to compare again. So what we're going to do is compare, select compare was selected. Put in there, was it another, I can't even remember, another T. Oh, that's a good start, ain't it? Save it? Oh, I haven't saved it, that's why. I don't want you making changes. Select compare. Compare was selected. What I'm going to just do. I'm trying to find this property Dealio, have you gone? Another. Where did it go? Has it even saved it? They're there. Another. Can't see it. There it is. Ground proxy. I think I might need to have a look. Root entities. Because you can see in here, it was 19. So if I go action, I'll just go 0. Dot entity. Slash -1 slash property. I think this is the way. Okay, alright. I think the way that we need to kind of reconstruct this is go the action. Then we're going to need to say script proxy. I'm realizing that there's a structure here, so I'm just now, what I need to do is figure out like I've gotten it down, now I just need to kind of restructure the object so that it follows the same inheritance. So what I'm getting is it's action, script, parameter proxy. In the parameter proxy, there's parameters that go to the parameter proxy. So you can have multiple parameter proxies inside a script. That's what I think is happening here. Okay, so what that means is that's an array. We would define our parameter proxy, and then within that we would nest our parameter value based on the parameter proxy. So what we are going to need to do it would be select single node for this. Oh, we also need to figure out how to match the action as well, because the action doesn't really point any sort of, it points to the script proxy. It's kind of like the script proxy sits in the middle, the action sits on top, and everything else sits underneath. So we'll need to do a lookup to get the, okay, so we need to do a lookup object dot action, and I'm guessing it's going to be pretty much the same kind of thing here. So I'm just going to kind of do that. Go script proxy, and then I can go action XPath. Have no idea what that is yet. We have to figure that out. I think it's going to be the same kind of lookup as the parameter, where it will be class key will be action text, and then it looks like property will need to be my script proxy, and property contains that. Should be 298, so then that will go here. And there's something else that needs to go there, I'm not sure yet, but so with the param proxy, it's a multiple lookup. So it's XML dot select nodes, and then from that we can add the parameters into the parameter proxy there. So we just need to, the way that I probably want to do this is something along the lines like this. And then we go object. The reason why is because I distinctly no. So we go object.param proxy plus equals we go proxy. Go that, and then we can go param value that, and then we can do some subsequent lookup. We can basically go select nodes, that, and it wouldn't be object, it would be that dot ID, and yeah, it'll be that, and that's how we will populate it. I think that's going to be the way that we're going to do it. So essentially we can do our lookup. I still need to flesh this out, so I think the first thing is I'm going to breakpoint that Actually, breakpoint there. Figure out what's going on. Oh, what? Why am I running? Oh, no. You're not running anything. Launching build. We're just running. Yeah, that's not action. We should have just grab the last. So now we can have a look at our script proxy. Okay, so the ID is 298. If we go property, yep, that's fine. The ID is 298. What I'm going to do is have a look to see script proxy .id if that returns anything. Okay, there it is. So that's the line that we need to do there. So let's clean this, stop that, pop that there. So that now can get the action. We've got the script, and then we can then pass the parameters. What I'm going to do here, breakpoint that. Look, that's the first parameter proxy. You can see, yeah, okay, I don't really particularly know what we're looking at there. It should, if there was a parameter proxy, I would have expected it to match, to have some sort of like link to the script proxy essentially, but it's kind of like that sits out on its own entity. So now what I can do is see if I can go and grab the parameter value for that specific item. What happens here? Okay, that didn't work. Let's see that. So there's only one parameter value. Which is example. That's not right. Actually, no, that could be right because there could be different. There's multiple script proxies. Hang on a sec. So that's. Press F11. I don't know what's going on now. Going out. Are we going back in? Let's find out. So what's everyone doing at the moment? What are you guys doing? Got it running in the background, actively watching, chilling out on the phone, playing Candy Crush. I think it's just dumped it. I'm going to do, actually I'm going to put a breakpoint there again. I'm going to rerun this. And what are we going to do is just to see how many comes back. 2. Okie dokie. That means that we should have multiple. Oh, no. No more breakpoints, please. So we got our action. We got our script. We got our RAM. we go in here, we should see param value. Example. So if we actually we can just get rid of this. There we go. Good outcome. We can now fetch it, which is awesome. Now, that's going to make it a lot easier to work with. The next thing we're going to try and do is change it, or add things. Since we know the schema, this could be possible. A couple of things that I've known is that it has like max entity count and things like that, so we can go into that and essentially change the max entity count, so that we can then just essentially add an extra item in there and then index it in. So that's what I'm thinking we can do. That's pretty cool. We managed to read the XML, figure out what we need to do, write a piece of code to actually extrapolate the information we need out of it. That means that we should be able to now inject content into it. I think that the thing that we're going to need to do is that because each parameter has a parameter proxy, so if we go to parameter proxy and then you see proxy, we'll need to generate this. That's possible. Absolutely think that's possible. I think it's going to get a little bit more complicated because essentially we need to write a query. We're going to have to make queries. Essentially change the properties to be queries. Sorry. But if we change properties to be queries, then, like, at the end of the day though, it doesn't really matter. Like, it'll require some more digging, but the foundation has been, we can get the data. That's the main thing. Can we insert the data is going to be another thing. What happens if I just change another to something else? Will it update? Won't it update? Will it cause issues with the services? Do we need to do it concurrently? We need to update both files at the same time, so basically we don't cause any issues. I think that those are questions that we're going to need to answer. We'll definitely find out as we go along. But I think that this is a good start anyway. This is an excellent start. We've essentially managed to go and get the content that we needed to get. So yeah. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'll get you guys to sit back, relax, go and grab a drink, or just listen to music. And what I'm going to do is when we get back, I think what we might do is see if we can start writing the right component to it, so we can actually update the XML file. I think I'm going to have to write a PowerShell module called ScriptRunner, so I'm just going to prefix it with SR, and then we're going to have to start writing some baseline content in there to kind of get things working. I think it needs to be a module because, just thinking off the top of my head, you kind of need to have that XML stored somewhere for the commandlets to be able to access and then still kind of have some sort of reference. So anyway, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Yep, sit back, relax, grab a drink of water, and yeah, see you soon. All right, back. All right, man. As you can see now, it's really sunny. The sun is like right in my eye. So I'm just gonna move that move that curtain to try and. There we go. Oh, it's a lovely day this morning though. We've had a ton of rain last week. Just looking at the window now. I cut the grass yesterday because I need another cut. I've got to do the backyard as well, so But it's a beautiful day, and now we've finally got the sun's out and the grass can finally heat up and grow some more. And then, yeah, looks like it's getting quite cold, so we're going to soon start seeing frosts, which is not good for... I need to kind of get my weeding done before that, so yeah. Yeah. I kind of enjoy that. I really enjoy just doing garden work now. And I'm turning into a bit of a gardener. I actually really enjoy it. Kind of, especially turf. Just making nice turf. You know, just keeping my turf healthy, keeping it clean, keeping it, you know, looking good. Gives me, when you get to drive home. Full data format. Okay, SQL compact. SQL compact. Let's go install SQL compact. I thought we could get away with the XML file. I don't really want to have to go install all this extra stuff to kind of make it work. We could still interact with it. It just means that it's going to be a little bit more complicated. We're going to need to spend a bit more time on this to kind of get around that. So what I'm thinking is, I know that SQL compact. Yeah. I was going to see if there's any sort of boilerplate for this. Whoops. Done this before. I've got some code. I've actually got some code. I'm going to have to go and find it. I'm just going to have to try and remember where I put it. That's going to be the question. My old stuff, where is it? It's on my network drive. I found it. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Okay, some of my own stuff. Is this it? Oh no, that is definitely not it. Did it go? What's that one? Oh, yeah, I do. This is it here. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to find this piece of code. I'm just going to quickly chuck this in a file. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that we don't need, but I'm just kind of going through here trying to find the key things that we need to grab. That is what we need. Now, do I need to do an add type? Am I doing an add type? Suspicion I am. So it's coming. I'm just nearly done. Reflection assembly. I think that's it. I think that's essentially what I've done. Compact DLL path. Okay, so now we can go look for our compact DLL path. So, hola, is that our Microsoft 365 DSC you're on about in your title? No. So ScriptRunner is so DSC Datum. What I'm trying to do essentially is work on a methodology of be able to make DSC easy for. Well, actually, no. You could use. No, sorry. Let me rephrase that. So Microsoft 365 DSC is kind of this. They are DSC resources. Yes, there is a tool that backs up the tenancies, and it's. Well, last time I looked at it was okay. This is more focused on the top level DSC. So in this is not focused on tenancies, but focused on machine configuration. It can probably be applied to tenancies. You could use Datum to manage multiple tenancies. You could even use Datum to technically enforce policies on the team level, but like at the object level. But the problem, I'll be honest, I think Microsoft 365 DSC is trying to do a lot, which is good, but at the same time though, like it's also trying to do too much in the sense that okay, Microsoft Graph has essentially consolidated a lot of the APIs, which is a good thing. I know that it's that makes things a lot easier when it comes to doing lookups. But the problem is that like, and this is the same with any sort of desired state configuration. You wouldn't use desired state configuration to manage Active Directory. That's just not the way that it's designed to be used. You essentially have DSC running every 15 minutes, and that process would just be constantly running, killing your server. It'd be the same thing to basically with DSC to essentially to manage the configuration. You could back up your tenancy, you could back up all your teams and all that kind of stuff. It would take forever to do if you're in a large organization. But when you're actually wanting to manage your teams, essentially you wouldn't want to be, using this as a provisioning tool. You wouldn't want to be using it. Essentially, you'd be wanting to only set the 365 teams policies, and that would be it. You wouldn't be governing any sort of team itself, because that's just not tenable, especially for the amount of ongoing processes. If the way that essentially I would basically do team, like something like object level governance is to have a trigger essentially set up. I used to. I don't really work with it much anymore. I actually have a ton of experience with 365 DSC module, and that was just because I worked on a project where essentially we did 365 health checks. And the idea was we wanted to be able to essentially take a snapshot of a customer's tenancy and then basically automate that entire process. And 365 DSC did it. And I basically wrote a PowerShell module which would scrape Azure and 365, and it basically would populate the Excel file, and then you would have this nice Excel file that you can kind of, start to formulate stuff. The problem I found was that authentication, especially with SharePoint, was just unusable. You could, you had to run it on a virtual machine outside of your environment because it was just unusable. It was just this process that would take forever to run. Microsoft Graph and it's like the tokens, obviously if you're using the correct tokens it was fine, but the thing was that we needed to look at Microsoft Teams and things like that, and the export tool wasn't granular enough. So I kind of started mucking around inside the module, and I just got to the point where I was just like, I wasn't a big fan of it. But I did manage to export it all into configuration, export it all, and I managed to get somewhat it working. And then basically the other problem was there's just continual updates being pushed out, which where I had issues with one thing, they would fix that thing, and then there'll be new issues with another thing. And I just got to the point where I was thinking, this is just, the product's not mature enough for what I'm trying to do. So I just kind of left it. And that was in last year, so 2021. So yeah, I don't really deal with that much anymore. I kind of work a lot more in configuration management space, automation. Like a lot of my work now is less 365 focused, Azure focused, and it's more very technical focus. Like essentially, one of the projects that I'm working on is where our development machines don't have access to the internet, which is quite difficult. DevOps and PS automation, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff outside of PowerShell that I do. Like I still do work in C#. It's like things what I'm really kind of in the area of package management, things like that. So one of the projects that we're working on at the moment is our development machines don't have access to the internet. So you can install VS, but if you want to install dependencies, it's kind of word of mouth, documentation to go and find the right offline packages, and essentially they're just file shares that you have to set your offline package repos to. It's very clunky, and it's incredibly slow and frustrating. You can imagine how frustrating it is. So there's kind of this process that's being implemented basically where you can go to essentially raise a request, and it will go and grab the package, and we look at the dependencies and performs analysis on it, and then basically implements it, adds it into one of these directories, adds it into our Artifactory implementation, which is a really good start. And I was kind of thinking along the lines as a developer, I don't even want to have to think about that. I just want to be able to, search packages, install packages, get stuff done. My wife's just driving off. So that's kind of where I got to, and then I started thinking about how I can kind of make this different, make it transparent but still secure. So I essentially in the last couple of days I wrote a Node.js application which is really, really interesting, where you can pass. So essentially, it becomes it's a proxy with features. Oh, and I'm going to rephrase that. It's a proxy with extras. The idea is that it will proxy your requests to the endpoint. However, it has an orchestration component inside it, and it's I've based it very loosely off Azure Functions. And the idea there is that you can essentially run script code within the application to do certain things pre the proxy request and post the proxy request. So you can run stuff pre the request to do manipulation to the URL, the headers, things like that. And then post to the request, you can rewrite the HTTP body, cookies, whatever, the headers, response headers, you can do all that. And the whole concept there is that essentially it's abstracted away to configuration. And so what you can do is that, I really wish I could show you this, you guys. This is one of the coolest pieces of code I've probably written in a very long time. The idea is that you can basically you can say, okay, I want the source URL, which will basically sit as an endpoint on the Node application, and then you provide the proxy URL, and then you can basically say, all right, I want to run the script, and the script will change the response to set. It could change it to whatever you want it to be. And the reason why we did that was because what it meant was that I essentially build configuration files for each of the package management sources. So that's npm, that's PowerShell, that's NuGet, anything that basically, like sudo apt-get, you could basically write a configuration file for that specific item. And that meant that we could essentially control what the developers could download. And from PowerShell or Visual Studio, you just set this proxy as its endpoint, and it doesn't know any different. It just it's like, oh, this is a proxy, it's all good. And you can query, you can search, and you can download. And it's really, really cool. It's one of the most powerful pieces of powerful tool I've wrote. One of the interesting things about NuGet v2 is that the problem is that the way that dependencies are managed in versions, it basically has what they call fuzzy matching. And so essentially what will happen is when you download a dependency, it'll basically go and get the most recent dependency, which is what we don't want in our organization. So the idea is that because we have complete control over the NuGet API, which is just XML, we can essentially write whatever we want in the dependency version. So it's actually really, really cool. It's one of these things where we can basically say, I can rewrite the body of it so that basically the only dependency it's allowed to get is version 4.1, and that's it. It will not get any other versions. It can only get version 4.1. So it's a really, really interesting piece of code. Anyway, yeah, that's the kind of work that I've been working on at the moment. I've also been essentially taking the PowerShell gallery offline as well. So I've been writing tons of work on tools around that. Other bits and pieces that I've been working is basically standing up proof of concept. We need to do some repackaging of our internal applications so that they're compatible with Chocolatey, because we're going to be hopefully implementing Choco for Business. And then the idea is that we can move all our applications into Choco for Business, which makes it a lot easier to manage and audit, because Choco Business has a lot of good configuration management and auditing capabilities. And then the other thing was that we were trying to look at things like Ansible, and then I'm just kind of implementing Datum DSC in my POC to kind of simulate the environment and how capable it is for being able to deploy applications in a configuration management environment, because once we move to Ansible, we need to make sure all our internal applications support it. So yeah, that's what I do. It's my title says PowerShell developer, and I do PowerShell development from time to time, and I've written PowerShell modules and stuff like that, and but it's I kind of got my feet in all these different areas, and I'm doing kind of architecture, and I'm doing all sorts of kind of cool things. So it's less 365 now, a lot less. I don't really have much time to kind of do that, and I kind of just keep my skills up to date by just seeing what's out there in terms of the world, and just watching and keeping up to date in the user groups. And so anyway, we're gonna go and see if we can grab this file. So we've got two files, looks like 6 to the 4th, 6 to the 5th. So this looks like it's the original, looks like it's the updated file. So we're gonna go ahead and grab that. Ooh. Let's go and have a look at you. Is there anything you can have a look? Go ahead and copy that path. I have no idea what I'm doing with this SQL. I don't. Yeah. So, Spud, what do you do for work? What's the dealio? All right. So I'm just going to paste that there. Oops. No, it's got the double quote. Double quote. Then what we're going to do is, I need to go and find the actual executable, don't I? The binary path. Let's go and find it. I think it's going to be C program file, because I'm recently my hard drive died, so I went and actually bought some new hard drives, SSDs for my machines. My hard drive broke, my SSD broke. Gosh. that was yeah. And then after that, I decided that, hey, this is a good time to de-dust my computer. And so what I did was I tipped my computer up, and I'm just going through with I got a like a stick vacuum, and I'm kind of just going through with that with my I've got like a really fine brush, kind of just brush, and I can kind of suck it up. And I'm just brush, and it must have accidentally dumped a whole bunch of dust into my PSU. And well, I thought about it. I was like, that'll be right. It should be right. And it was not right. It was clearly not right. It would boot it, so that it wouldn't boot unless you unplugged the power lead, left it for 15 minutes for the capacitors to drain, and then basically plug it back in, and then you were good. If you did it any other way, it would not boot. And like essentially what would happen is the machine, the case fans would turn on for half a second, the graphics card would spin up to 100% fans, and that was it. Lights would turn on, but there was nothing home. And so yeah, there was a so that was a really worrying time, because I didn't want to have to buy a new computer. I've been actually looking at the framework laptops, and I really wanted to actually. I've been kind of sitting on the fence about ditching my CPU, my computer, and then buying a laptop, and I can kind of use that as my daily driver. I can take it around and do stuff with it, and because it's framework laptops, you can repair yourself. Like, they're not just kind of this one, kind of this black box where you kind of pray it works after it stops working for a period of time. You then bin it, and then what I was thinking is just grabbing my GPU, pulling that out, and then buying one of those external GPUs with a Thunderbolt port, and then basically just using that as my my daily driver, and when I get home I just plug it into that, and it just just works. So yeah, anyway, that is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my path. I'm looking for the path. I'm like, switch. Selection, DLL path. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to my. I think it's got to be this. I betcha it's that one. Oops, I kind of put some things in the wrong areas. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, so let's try and load it, have a look inside it, see if there's anything interesting. I probably should just use SSMS. But that does not make me the DBA for the day. And therefore, all questions relating to DBA will be mine. Well, let's see if we can actually load the assembly. Okay, that works. Cool. All right, if that's the case, what's my connection string? Okay, it's this here, data source. Okay, so that'll just be connection string, like so. Go ahead and create an engine. Give us an engine. Alrighty, looks like we're there. I think I need to go and find some more code to figure out how am I querying this thing. So give me one sec. Hey Spud, do you stream, mate? What do you stream? I'm going to find those files. So I'm gonna have this off screen. GitHub directory. Alright, how do we query? How do we query? Golly gosh. Okay, so we're just using a generic SQL query, it looks like. Give me that, please. Give me. Search up. There it is. Righty, yeah, we're gonna need to go and use SSMS to go and kind of have a bit of an explore into this, because if I'm querying, I'm doing a blind query, so SSMS. I should be able to, let's see if there's a Choco SSMS. Yep, look at that. SQL Server Management Studio. Oh, cool beans. Alright, we'll install SSMS. And I think what we can do here is, like, I think I want to be able to, for today, I just want to be able to open up the table, figure out what the structure is, where the files are being written, and then basically, yeah, go from there. I think the way that I think we can probably do it is I'm going to read from the XML and then I'll write to the SQL. Just because I think if I go any other way, I'm thinking that there could be potentially issues. I don't really want to, I could read from the SQL database and just do a direct writes in it. Yeah, so we'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out. So while I wait for this install, chat, anything, any interesting news, anything, any questions, any fun stories? Rockstar, deleting Active Directory, destroying tenancies. I think, yeah, if I can get the write to happen, it just means that, if I can write it to the database directly, that's also counting the fact that it's not being locked. That's the other issue, is has it been locked? Can we, God, this is now starting to make me worried. can I write to the database if the file's been locked without restarting the service? That's going to be the question. If I restart the service, what's going to happen? Like, I'm not a fan of it. I'm just going to bounce the server. I'm not a fan of it because, like, if it has to happen, it has to happen. But at the same time, though, I'm not a fan of it just because you obviously can imagine that there's it just screams bad juju. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable implementing this in an environment. Let's just go and see what's happened after I bounced the first server. I did it. What's like? Is it using the XML configuration as a for the? That's not a good start. I hope I didn't just completely nuke my ScriptRunner server. Like, hey, code, ScriptRunner's broken. I broke it. Like, God, what are you doing, mate? Amateur hour. This IRS. Fuck this. Please work. Oh my God, I think I broke it. Well, this is a fun. Oh boy. I have the before files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these. I'm glad I actually took a backup of these. I am so glad, because this is now, like, it's getting serious in terms of what is not right. And I think what's happening is maybe the XML file, oops, Control Z, maybe the XML files are being used for something, and that's kind of causing issues. So I'm just going to bounce the server. Unless Haiku's in stream and he can tell me otherwise, but that's right. I'll probably just flick him some questions on Twitter and he can ask the dev team. So is that being done? Yep. Okay, let's just open up SSMS then. Looks like we're going on a table hunt. We're gonna go catch some configuration. Get into that. SSMS. SQL Compact SQL Lite Toolbox for SSMS. When was this made? God. Okay, this is Visual Studio. Oh, don't tell me I have to. I'm gonna see if there's something in here. For the love of God, please be something. Oh, this is gonna get really not fun. Oh boy. All right, I'm just gonna go AFK for 5 minutes. Sit back, listen to some music, and I will be back. I just need to go to the Jets. So I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Right, I'm back.
All right. Yeah. SSMS. SSMS SQL Compact. What would it like? Because within SSMS, you have to the way that it gives you a server name. I can just give it a path. That's what I'm thinking. Because there was a connection string. Oh, it's data source. Google SSMS connect to OpenDB. DB though. Try path. Doing that. Don't think that's working. I'm kind of kicking at weeds here at the moment. Yeah, I didn't think it. Make sure the application for the file type SCF is installed. Open file with a new connection. No. What if Chrissy's on? Nope, Chrissy's not on. Let's see if I can get something out of it. Let's try local connection stuff. Yeah, I think SQL Server Compact. SQL Server. SQL Server connection. Manager enables. Yep. Configuration. The configuration. I do not want to have to install 2022. Please, for the love of God, not 2022. That's just bloatware right there. I think this is the only choice I have to actually understand the table structure. Because I don't know the instance name, I don't know anything about it. So to be able to kind of reverse engineer it, you kind of need to be able to have a look at the file. How do you open an SDF file? Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, there's plenty of them. Link pad. Let's have a look at link pad. Hey, is it safe? No idea what it is. Look at it. All I want to do is be able to have a look at it. That's it. I just want to be able to go, hey, what's in here? Downloads. Most likely someone's already run this. Yep. And it's good. Cool. So I've got a big old SSD. I can just install everything back to C drive, and I'm not worrying about. Don't think I need .NET 6. Like I need to get .NET 6. It was an interesting rabbit hole, isn't it? I just want to be able to have a look at this file. That's all I care, please. What's happening? It's tongue. Is that a good thing? Probably is. That ain't a good thing. Oh god, sun's in my face again. Gotta throw that. It's kind of slowly coming across the front of my house, and it's just right in my left eye. Okay, I think I need to. I've got a lot of stuff to download. Edit. How do we new query open? That's just a query. The framework core. A few more drivers. Let's have a look at SQL. Generating one baselink database schema, link to SQL, compact. Yes, this one. Dude, got a lot of dependencies. Oh, what? Okay, that's fine for us for the moment. Alright, let's see if we can. Next. Compact. Yeah, it's got a password on it. The specified password does not match the database password. No. Is there a password any somewhere? I'm looking for passwords. Well, I managed to load it. Include foreign keys, friendly name, test. Specified password does not match the database password. Access for db.stf. Yep, we're just gonna go and have a look anyway and see what we can get. Yeah, we're getting lots of errors. Yep, fun times. That, to be honest though, at the end of the day, I would expect the same thing. While we're doing that, I might as well just see if ScriptRunner's back up and running. If it is, I'm going to try and replace the XML files again. I think it is. Continue evaluation. Okay, cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and replace those XML files again. We'll see what happens. If it fixes it, like, was it something that I needed to wait for, you know, something along those lines. We'll just try this again. Because this is really scratching the bottom of the barrel. Like, if I can't get this done, it's kind of, I'll need some sort of feature to be able to kind of access that, whether they give me some sort of DLL or something I can kind of go and have a look inside of. Well, something along those lines. I'm not sure yet. So, and they'll probably have to be done offline just because of the fact that we don't really want to be showing how that's done. So I pasted those XML files. Just going to let it restart, let it sit, see what happens. Hopefully we can get something done. I want to I want to see it work, because if it works, that's good. If it doesn't, we've got a major problem. Go and have a look at our stats.
When are you coming back? I miss your strong embrace. I want to believe we have a chance to let our hearts escape.
Yet failed.
I need you here with me. You see it on my face. I know that when our heartbeats run, troubles will be overcome. When are you coming back? I miss your strong embrace. I want to believe we have a chance to let our hearts escape. I need you here with me. You see it on my face. I know that when our
More files
heartbeats run,
then.
troubles will be overcome, overcome, overcome.
What are you gonna do? Backed up ones. We stuff them up. Something just happened. Is it recreating them?
Embrace, I miss your strong embrace. I want to believe we have a chance to let our hearts escape. Embrace, you see it on my face. I know that when our heartbeats run, troubles will be overcome. Embrace, embrace, I miss your strong embrace.
That's there now. Let's see what happens.
We have a chance to let our
Will it work
hearts
now?
escape. Embrace, embrace, you see it on my face. I know that when our heartbeats run, troubles will be overcome.
That works. Okay, cool. Continue evaluation. Alright, sweet. So that's fine. So I'm going to do stop the service. Prefix these again. Someone text me. Go ahead and restart it. See if this starts firstly. So that's running with the changes. Yes, with the changes. Refresh this. Okay, so it's just because the ScriptRunner service didn't start. That's okay. The question is did it actually... oh god, it's not there. It's reverted back. It's in the XML configuration, but it seems like what's happened is the database has reverted back. I could say that because I don't see test here in under actions. Let's refresh it. Okay. XML is not the way to go. It's the database. That's the way we need to get in. I'm going to go and have to talk to them about it. The other thing that we could potentially do is to capture. So if we make a change here, let me just maximize this window. If we make a change here, for instance, in disk info, get rid of. I don't care what's new. What we can do is click on network, click edit, click OK. And you can see here we're making calls update default assignments, default change action. You could hypothetically make the change over the HTTP call. The interesting thing is what's it actually do? So request URL, action context item 15. Okay, so that's the ID of this. Oh, okay, so I think the first thing, and then it's doing a post, yep. Where's your headers? www authenticate. So this is how it's authenticating. Now we need to go and figure out where the authentication's done. So what we can do here, if I can remember correctly, so we can take a snapshot of the memory and figure out what's in here. There's a way we can actually, yeah, here we go. Localhost. Let's have a look at the storage. Okay, so I think this maybe we're gonna have to use the web UI. We're gonna use the web request. We could do it. We're just gonna have to authenticate. I'm just looking through here to see if I can see any sort of token, which I don't see. Is there any session storage? Nope. Okay, so nothing in there. Trust tokens. What's in our cookies? Interesting. Let's try this again. Unless that's it. It's fiery there. User ID, it says ZDSUID build store. Interesting thing is if we go back to network, I'm just going to clear all this out. Click reports, oh no, we click actions, click edit disk info, edit, okay. We update the default assignments here. Let me just pop this out. So we're updating our default. Okay, so that's sending in options. That's not what. This is the one we want. So it's headers. So it's doing a www authenticate. Is that's integrated auth, isn't it? I think that's integrated auth. Hang on, give me a sec. www authenticate. I think it's integrated auth. Is that a response or was that a response? Was that a request? Oh, that was a response. These are requests, sorry. Okay, application, host, referrer. There's no auth mechanism in here. So what's in the preview, in the payload? Assignments. So that was what was in added. This is what was sent back. No, this is what was sent. Okay, yes, okay. So I don't see anything in here. This is the response. No. That's okay. Let's. How are we authing? Is there a cookie? Does anyone see a cookie? That looks like an API, but the thing is that where... Okay, that's response headers. We don't care about that. But the thing is here, I don't see any cookie. I don't see any sort of authentication. How is it authing? There's nothing being sent in the request. It's just empty assignment. That's what was sent in the request. Default, change action. Maybe it's sent in the options? Nope. There's nothing there. I'm now intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Oh, whoops, don't need that. Firefox. Okay, now we actually don't need that. Invoke, rest method, unauthorized. That's what I thought. So then, how are we authing? That's the issue. That's the question. User credentials. I've just got this feeling that it's something. Yeah, this is weird. But it is perplexing me. So I think I'm going to have a look at it anyway. Yes, please install PowerShell extensions, yes. Yeah. Okay, cool. Alright, let's just see what this does. Yeah, get a 401. Okay, so how is it authing? It's time to clear. We're going to let's log in with Kerberos. Interested in that. I'm interested in the sort of admin, move permanently from disk cache to here. Let's see what happens if we copy that. We're getting 401. Only core types are supported. Oh god. God, this is a pain in the backside. There are some cookies here, but they're like they don't actually store credentials. What's the issues it's having? Threat type. Only core types are supported in this language mode. This is like the story of my life. I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I think I'm going to need to do some digging offline to kind of figure it out. I also think that maybe I can probably go and ask ScriptRunner themselves and figure it out, because this is kind of a co-project with them. So I think they might be able to give me some documentation to kind of be able to, even if I think the best way to kind of go forward here is to figure out to use the API. Not a fan. I don't think it's possible to use the SQL compact file, because I think the service is going to be sorry. I think the file will be locked. The only file we can release the file lock is to actually stop the service. So I think that's probably going to be the best way to do this. Big learning process today. Lots of stuff installed. Not much. We made progress, but we didn't make progress. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. I think we're just going to have to keep cracking on with it. I'm going to have to keep fiddling around with it and try and figure out what the best way to kind of get around is. I think the web auth is probably going to be the safest option. It also is probably the simplest to be able to like add changes to the code and then be able to update them. So I think, yeah, let's leave it there for today, everybody. I hope you had a interesting stream. I did. Didn't really do much, but obviously you can see that the kind of the thought process on how I kind of go about doing things like this in terms of reverse engineering and tinkering around and trying to figure out the best way to be able to make changes. And obviously we need to be able to test those. We've tested them, they failed, suggesting that our initial approach wasn't the right one. So we're just going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure that out and figure out the new approach. I'll be back next Saturday doing it all again. This Tuesday coming up, I'll be streaming, but that's we'll be talking PowerShell user, PowerShell user group. We'll be talking in the Brisbane Infrastructure DevOps user group. I'll be talking about PowerShell security, so I'll be streaming that one. Don't miss it. Lots of really good stuff. It's going to be part 1 of part 4, which is essentially of all the different kinds of areas of PowerShell security to talk about. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So anyway, hope you guys have a good day. If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. I haven't been providing obviously any sort of feedback. Anyway guys, have a good one. See you guys next Tuesday. Alright, bye.